Game Day Podcast. My name's Sean. Joining me today is the one and only Dante Boff and the Spock Man. How are we?
Sean, I'm so good.
That's good, man.
Should we cheers red tins?
Red tins.
Cheers.
Close enough to the mic. Yeah, how do you want to start, man? Like, should we talk about Clay's return to Golden State, or did you want to touch on that?
Do you think that it's true that Clay ghosted the other guy, Stephen Curry?
The other guy. Yeah, I think it's true. I think
that's crazy.
Yeah.
What are you doing, bro?
So Clay's like...
We could literally put that on like...
What are you doing, bro?
God, Basketball Forever would have eaten up the start of this conversation 2 years ago.
There's like a lo-fi beat in the background. What are you doing, bro?
That's crazy, bro.
All right, all-time leaders scoring, Brooklyn Nets. Doctors hate number one. It's Brook Lopez. It's Brook Lopez.
But it is actually crazy. That was your best friend.
Yeah.
For 12 years.
Yeah.
You've been to the mountaintop with that guy.
I've listened to a couple of pods, right?
I believe it.
I've listened to 4 podcasts where people broke down the game, and I watched the game.
Yeah.
I think the way Clay left because of the injuries, right? If Clay was just a free agent and he was still like the best 3 and D2 in the whole league, right? I think it would be very different because you have to imagine like the relationship was like seriously strained at the end there. Like, yeah, you've been to the top of the mountaintop 4 times, but I think it is difficult because he was just an absolute shell of himself for all those years, and now he's in Dallas. He's just like, hey, I'm full Sam Merrill up in this shit. Like I'm shooting only threes. Did you see the stat?
No, but he's not.
Yeah, he's still doing
the one dribble pull up.
But they need that, and he's also doing a little bit less. So Jamie, pull those stats up on his percentage of pull up middies. But he's still doing it. But like in the games I've watched, he's been a lot more palatable. Like you messaged
the games I've watched, he's been incredibly unpalatable. Well, we're watching different games.
I think it might be a sample size issue at SSI, but. I think because of the way he left, it was like, oh my God, get this guy out of here. Plus, we go into this season, we're the best team in the West right now, right? And isn't it crazy that your Phoenix Suns are right there behind us? But this is also due to the fact that Minnesota Timberwolves have lost to the Portland Trail Blazers on back-to-back nights. But, like, we're top of the West. Everything's fucking
You'll
popping.
You'll never sing that.
And it's like, and the way we've done it is we've got this committee where it's like, if you just underperform a little bit, off you go. Like Moses Moody couldn't put the ball in the basket with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Bang, Anthony Melton. Like you've got such a short leash, and so it's like, imagine if we had that with Clay. Imagine if we had that with Clay last year. Clay made the whole thing about coming off the bench, and he's like, oh, I love Manu Ginobili. All of a sudden, scored 25 points off the bench, and he was like in the press conference, like, oh, hopefully Steve sees that, and it's like, shut up a bit, man. I think because there were so many like flashpoints like that, I think that's maybe why the relationship deteriorated. Steph also didn't do a pre-game press conference. This is the first game all season where he hasn't done a press conference before the game. He just wanted to get right into it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. I
mean, there's no point in... Yeah, I mean, you can wax lyrical all you want after and around the game, but before the game, I can completely understand that. I guess... Not really knowing or caring as much about the situation as you, I was surprised to hear that, because I guess I had assumed that among pretty much exclusively Steph and Dre, there was the perception of like, okay, this is our guy, like we're doing it together, like we're with him. But I guess that's only true to a point, and how many one dribble pull-up twos can you have? Seriously. Can you miss before it gets done? Anyway, I would just like to take this opportunity to issue a formal apology.
God, this feels great.
Because we went to a party on a boat. It was Marco's boat party, and that's just how Marco kind of operates, boat party. It was a nautical themed dress up, and you appeared in what seems to be the least nautical themed dress up imaginable. and you had to explain to anyone who would listen what your costume was and how it actually applied to nautical theme.
Apart from Nick Visser.
And well, shouts to Nick Visser.
Seriously, massive shout.
Perceptive, very perceptive. And your costume was Clay Thompson on a boat with the dog. And at the Golden State Clay game, there were hundreds of people.
Thousands.
Thousands of people wearing nautical themed hats. In a Clay Thompson gesture. So I just want to formally apologise. On behalf of the whole Deep 2 podcast network, I'd like to apologise for that.
Thank you, Dante. And pretty crazy. One of the pods I was listening to was like in Chase Center when they put playoff shirts on the seats, like no one really wears them in Chase, and it's been like obviously one of the big issues where it's like, oh fuck, Chase's atmosphere, like it's just not there. You've got like the tech pros. A few people said one of the positives of a hat is that it doesn't crinkle your suit and tie when all these Silicon Valley tech bros are going to Chase Center for millions of dollars a year to get courtside seats.
Yeah, but what about
getting into it?
But what about it fucking ruins your hair that you went to Turkey to specially get done?
Yeah, it took him about 5 minutes to put the hat on in a special way. Fuck the soul. Danny LaRue was talking about it on Dunked On, where he's just like, the best, he said, was the best atmosphere he's been in Oracle in his whole entire life. Obviously his life is 2 years of Oracle or 3 years of Oracle, but he said Chase, but he goes, it doesn't hold a flame to Oracle. Like just random Tuesday at Oracle was better than that Clay return game, and that was the best I've seen Chase Center like popping. Yeah, it's like, fuck, that's so grim.
Yeah. I mean that's a pretty dark path to go down.
Yeah.
The sale of the soul of sports to the highest bidder, in the form of Silicon Valley tech bros in this this instance. Let's talk about.
Let's pivot. Let's
pivot into the meat of the pod.
1 month in, we are 3 weeks in. Have we got 3 players of the week?
God, it feels like it's a month.
Yeah, it better be a month. I don't know.
Teams have played 12 games.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put this in the spreadsheet. You know how we do like a sort of 1 month. Maybe I will. Maybe that'll be good because I got a spreadsheet that tells all the awards, and then whenever we do an update pod, I say, oh, this is who we picked halfway through. But we're doing the awards. We're going to run through every major award, and if we had recorded this a week and a half ago, Paolo probably wins MVP. But now it's like, who's in this conversation? How does it compare to our priors? Your call of Devin Booker doesn't look horrible, to be honest.
It's definitely helped by the fact that the Suns are 9-2 and that Kevin Durant is out for a few weeks and Booker's going to actually have more of the ball.
And Bradley Beal's not going to be scoring the points.
Bradley Beal,
he's good. He's playing well.
Yeah, he needs to actually be involved.
Well, Mike Budenholzer. We'll talk about Mike Budenholzer in the Coach of the Year conversation, which I think is a spectacular endorsement of your Phoenix Suns. Would you want to start at the top, or should we start with?
I'm happy to start. I'm happy to start not at the top. So if there's an award that you're particularly itching to talk about, let's lead off there.
I'm not itching. I say we've just got a nice natural segue into Budenholzer.
Let's do it.
So Coach of the Year, give us Mike Budenholzer's. I'll just say the favourites at the moment in this order, as of a couple of days ago from an unnamed sports thingo, is Kenny Atkinson, Joe Mazzulla, and Mike Budenholzer. I like how you've changed the meaning of the word Mazzulla to refer to someone who's very Christian or Catholic.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, that's pretty Mazzulla of him to add a chain on.
Yeah, Mazzulla Pilled and Mazzulla Core.
That was great.
Yeah.
Mazzulla Core sounds like a winger for Fulham.
He's Senegalese.
But yeah, so who's your Coach of the Year?
I'm going with Kenny Atkinson.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess you love zeros on the second half of the record.
Can I just speak? Bloody hell. So the Cavs are 13-0. They're the last remaining undefeated team by quite a substantial margin. And yes, they have played 10 of those games against Eastern Conference teams, and yes, the East doesn't appear to be very good.
Mm.
There is kind of with the morass of teams in the East that are around about 500 or just over or just under, it's very easy to say, oh, all the teams in the East are 500. Some of those teams in the East are where they are because the Cavs have beaten them to keep them there. So it's the difference between a 5-6 record or a 6-5 record, whatever. So I hear, you know, whispers of criticism that they have had a pretty easy run, but 13-0 is 13-0 through the first, you know, sixth of the season. I think we are, and they're doing it at a canter, and he's doing it in a way that completely exposes the job that the guy before was doing.
Yeah.
Which is something that he shares with Coach Bud.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's literally the same guys and it looks this much better.
Yeah.
The offense for Cleveland
the exact same guys.
The offense for Cleveland is much improved. Mobley is taking the lead that we've been waiting for. The D is maybe not quite as good as it was under Bickerstaff at times, but it's still unreal. So it might be the obvious one, but I'm pretty happy with that choice. And I think as well, not that it should count, but like if the season did end today, it would be 100% guaranteed that it would be Atkinson.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like just in terms of the way that the media perceives this award, like. That this guy is exactly who the award is made for.
Yeah, if they win 60 games, there's no Defensive Player of the Year candidate, there's no MVP candidate. Like, it is.
I think Defensive Player of the Year is. Well, and even
it's up for
MVP. I think, but coach, like
coaches, this is
If they hit even 56 and they're the 2 seed in the East,
they're in the East, man. They're going to win 60. It's going to start with an S.
Bloody hell, it's 50.
I think you're right, and like it's pretty cool that scouts have been telling us before and after, hey, Evan Mobley's going to be a great player in this league. And then we've just been like, okay, sick, cool. I'm going to tell all my friends that at the pub. Hey, I really like Evan Mobley. He goes, oh, cool. I hope he has a good year this year. Bang, 13-4.
What friends at the pub are you?
You.
They say that they seem like a lovely group of people that they're so supportive.
But then you should hear what they say back to me. But then it just takes a coach like Kenny Atkins to come in and say, oh, no, I'm just going to use you properly.
Well, and the thing that I think with Mobley specifically, and this is both a Mobley comment. Well, it's really a Mobley comment, a Bickerstaff comment, and an Atkinson comment. But the whole lack of imagination around what Mobley's evolving role in Cleveland could look like last season and the season before was like, we'll just make him shoot threes.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, awesome. Shooting threes is a good way to get better at shooting threes. But Mobley pretty much looks like he's a 30% three-point shooter. And he's being put in much more advantageous positions by Atkinson, and then also like actually empowered to like, you got the ball and the defense is like half a second into its rotation, go. You're 7 foot tall, you're going to get fouled. Go. The the idea that he would just stand in the corner on offense around a Mitchell Allen pick and roll last season and just like spot up like that wasn't working. And he's at He's averaging like 19 points.
Yeah.
Up from 12 or 13 to start last season. He started really slowly.
Also creating for himself a bit as well. This is like the first time ever we've seen him seriously create, and it's like it's not stupid creation where it's like, hey, let's like give you the ball as if you're Donovan Mitchell. It's like, oh, if you have a favourable matchup, and that's going to happen a lot of the time when you're playing this too big system, or you just Jared Allen has to be guarded by the other player, the other team's tall person. You're gonna have matchups, and if you can make the most of your matchup, like we saw the Boston Celtics win a title by having a guy that can just bully his matchup in KP or Al Horford. Not the best players on the team, but it's just another look. And like Kenny Atkinson, great coach. Like it's another look where if it's there to be found, Kenny Atkinson's going to find it. Great point guard, Darius Garland. Crazy that there were trade rumours in the off season, but Darius Garland's like everyone trusts him to make the right pass. He's like at the bottom of at the top of the assist to turnover ratio. Donovan Mitchell hasn't even like really been clicking on all gears. But
that's the thing that like I mentioned that they're doing it at a canter, but they've got like $20 bucks energy where no one is playing more than 30 minutes. It's $20 and Pop era. I say Pop era like he's not still there. And prayers up for Coach Pop, who's in hospital after he had a stroke. We hope that he's okay. Like Duncan, Missoula build. Duncan era Pop Spurs, whereas like the 29.9 is like the highest minutes per game.
KD Steph Warriors, 2016 Warriors.
I've read a few.
Finished in the third.
I've read a few
articles
by bloody nitpicking talking heads that are like, well, Donovan Mitchell hasn't really gotten going, and it's like they literally will put in their article that last season he averaged 28 points per game in 34.5 minutes per game, and this season he's averaging 23 points per game in 28.9 minutes, and then they're not like there's the correlation is so obviously causation in this effect in this instance that it almost seems disingenuous, like they're trying to engineer. If you play Donovan Mitchell 36 minutes next game, he's probably going to get you 28 or more points.
Then we're talking about the Cavs. Max Strus is also yet to come back. Joe Mazzulla, I just sort of don't want to reward him. Last year was his
for being
year.
Christian.
Nah, just I think he's a bit of a fuckwit.
It's people like you.
Well, he said he's not going to come to my funeral. Mike Budenholzer, it's just like you said at the start. How did the former coach not just figure it out? I guess he's not as smart as Mike Budenholzer. Heaps of credit to the Suns front office and Suns ownership for being Matt Ishbia, for being like, hey, get me the best guy. Here's a blank check, and then you got the best guy, and he's one of the highest paid coaches, and he's literally just doing his job. He's doing a great job.
We knew. I give them less credit for getting the best guy than I do. I think it's circumstantial that the best guy available was
one of the best guys.
Was actually one of the best guys because Matt Ishbia doesn't know his head from his ass when it comes to picking through the weeds of who are the best coaches. Yeah. Doc Rivers at one point was considered one of the best coaches and like a marquee get. If Doc Rivers had become available at the same time as Coach Bud, he might have gone for Doc Rivers on the big contract. Yeah. The only thing that I could say to criticize Coach Bud is that the offense still looks janky at times. You just want it to be a bit smoother, like we have seen with big threes of this ilk, where all of them are amazing ball handlers and very cerebral and like great jump shooters. It still gets a little bit your turn, my turn for my tastes. But 9-3 start speaks for itself.
And like to find value in Yusuf Nurkic. Also to have to find value in Yusuf Nurkic, but then also not play him if you don't want to. Like it's good coaching where it's like, okay, we're going to run with KD at the 5. Ryan Dunn, finding value in Ryan Dunn where he's like a negative shooter. I guess he's maybe the next evolution of Josh Okogie, but he's just found people. He
must have given his negative shooting to Oso Iguodala, the other Suns rookie. I don't know if you've seen his. Wow, listeners, go and Google Oso Iguodala. That's OSO. He has maybe the worst shooting form I've ever seen in my entire life. There's like a minute-long video where it's like him just shooting corner threes in practice. I dare you to make it through the whole thing. I don't think you can.
All right, final coach I want to talk about, Steve Kerr. You messaged me a couple of days ago saying you're not actually going to talk about Steve Kerr for Coach of the Year. But why not? Why? I'll let you start. Why?
No. I'll let you start because clearly you have a lot to say.
Best team in the West, right? After the first game against the Portland Trailblazers, which we won, we played 13 players. And talking heads were like, he can't do it all year. It's going to be great, but just wait until it doesn't work. We had a problem with our starting lineup. Our starting lineup was a net negative, and he was like, okay, I'm just going to bench Jonathan Kuminga. And you might say, like, obviously you just benched the bad player. But, like, there's a lot of noise around Jonathan Kuminga, and there's a lot of noise around Jonathan Kuminga wanting a contract, and, like, I'm sure the front office wants him to start just as a token, but he's been able to control that. Trace Jackson Davis, if he was just another year older, we would have a starting five, but he's not. But he's playing chess. Like, he's really using the pieces, and he's using every single piece that he has. And he's like, TJD, this isn't your matchup. You're going to start. You're going to get a couple of dunks at the start of the game, and I'm yanking you. Like, you're not going to finish the game. Kevon Looney, not your matchup either. Draymond at the 5. Kevon Looney is your matchup. And we've played so many lineups. We've got so many guys. Maybe this is a Executive of the Year award. I mean, they did sign the best player in free agency. You can't say that Paul George has been better than D'Anthony Melton through 12 games.
So you're going to say Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield.
Well,
most coaches would start him by now.
We were fucking talking about it 4 months ago on this very podcast that you would rather have Buddy Hield than Klay Thompson, straight up.
How crazy.
Let alone Buddy Hield on what? Is he on the veteran minimum?
No, it was like, it's 10 mil-ish.
Okay. Really? It's that high? I could have sworn it was like taxpayer mid-level max.
D'Anthony Melton was the only player in the whole league to sign the full mid-level.
He signed the full mid-level,
and Buddy Hield's lower than that. Buddy Hield's about 3 for 10, 2 for 10.
Yeah, Buddy Hield good.
It's great.
But again, it's that thing, like you kind of touched on it before, like talking, triggered in my mind, you mentioning KP in Boston. It's guys who are so absurdly good at a very select group of things, and coaches that are saying, we're going to put you in a position where you can utilize that. Like Buddy Hield as a point of attack defender or an off-ball defender when you're relying on him. It doesn't work. Yeah. KP posting up and just trying to ground and pound like we saw in Dallas, like it's not as effective. The coach says, this is what you're really good at. We're going to make it happen for you. Done. Give Buddy Hield the ball, let him work a little, let him come around off screens.
Him running off screens is it's like, honestly, it's like prime Klay Thompson, where it's like, remember that we would see all those things where him and Steph would run, and then like there'd even be times where they would like link arms and then fling each other off, like it's like a fucking Marvel movie, right? Like it was fucking incredible what was happening on an NBA court. Buddy Hield's got the similar thing where Steve Kerr clearly said, hey, don't stop moving. Like, just
and
the
system remains in place.
Gorgeous. But there was this one play which I think was like really, I can't remember who he played before Dallas. It was OKC. Buddy Hield with like that cheeky crossover, like just little like back and forth crossover after he's like got the defender already on his heels. I had no idea that was in his game. Like he was always pump fake, didn't get the shot, pass and run away. But he had this one, so he's crossed around someone, then he's driven into the paint. He's like gone up, like, okay, I can't get this shot off, so he's passed out to Draymond. And in every single fucking Warriors game I've ever watched, Draymond catches that, like at the extension of the free throw line. He looks to Steph. He takes a dribble towards Steph, and then Steph's going to come off that moving screen, pretty much, a moving dribble handoff. Steph's dude's covered, so then Draymond just like looks back and goes, oh, Buddy's here as well, because Buddy didn't stop moving. So Draymond's at the top of the three-point line with his defender worried about helping on either side, and then he ends up giving it to Buddy. It was sort of like, I don't know, it sort of felt like tokenistic, like, oh my God, for the first time ever, Steph's on my left running towards me for a DHO, but he's seen Buddy, so he's sort of pedalled backwards. Buddy's pedaling backwards after just cutting through the paint, and Draymond's just sitting there like, this is just an embarrassment of riches.
Like a fat little kid in a candy store.
Literally fat little kid. It is so cool to watch. And that's just gonna keep evolving. Steve Kerr's not the coach of the year. It is Kenny Atkinson.
Okay.
So let's put this down.
Like there's a good. You've made a very eloquent case for Steve Kerr's candidacy. I will just point out, because I feel obliged to, that the Warriors being, as you say, the best team in the West is relatively marginal.
Yeah.
Because there's 4 teams that are like kind of right there.
Pre-season, I picked Jamal Mosley, you picked Tom Thibodeau. Jamal Mosley, not very excited for that pick.
Yeah. Well, it would look... Well, I mean, look at that. Like, I've just pulled the standings up. The Magic are actually in third. And right behind the New York Knickerbockers, who would have home court advantage with a 45 winning rate this season if the playoffs ended.
Most valuable player. The favourites in this order are Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jason Tatum. Jokic, especially since Murray went down, was playing with the Kelvin Booth All-Stars, so As of 2 days ago, Nikola Jokic's plus-minus per clearing the glass was on offense plus 3.4, on defense minus 7.3, as in minus in the positive. For reference, Tatum is plus 4.5, minus 4. Shea is minus 6.1 on offense. That's weird. And plus 2.6 on defense, also very bad. Paolo, who I threw in there just as a bit of a... I put the Baker strings out for a laugh, mate. You shouldn't have eaten them. Paolo plus 2.8 on offense, plus 6.8 on defense. I actually didn't know he was that bad on defense. Tiny sample size.
I was going to say tiny sample size.
He also played the Indiana Pacers. Jamal Murray's finally been playing better. Do you reckon he's going to average like 25 points this season? He sort of has to at some point.
I would put I'm taking the under on whatever number
I'm going to put out there with Jamal.
I don't think that he ever is going to have that one season in Denver where he has like a truly superlative.
His history favours you here. Jokic is playing with Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, Russell Westbrook, Hunter Tyson. Yeah, a lot of West. It's disgusting.
There's a couple other guys that are... Name some other Denver...
Aaron Gordon's down for weeks.
Yeah,
right?
but the random guys.
MPJ... Oh, wait. Random guys or the...
No, the random guys. There's other guys. It's not just Watson and Strawther. There's other, like...
Hunter Tyson.
No, but he's not playing.
Yeah, well...
He's just sitting there looking like he would... He was playing. He's looking like he was present in certain places in Central Europe in the 1930s.
Zeke Nagy, they're really having another look just to make sure. You know when you don't know if there's a spider in your closet and you check a couple of times. It's the same vibe with them where it's like, God, if he's not good. What do you mean? Who else is on the
I'm just going to Google Nuggets roster and see what happens. Because I was watching the other day and there was a guy whose game I wasn't familiar with.
Christian Brown.
Nah, Christian Brown's been killing it.
He actually has. Coldest white boy in the league, they're calling him.
Yeah, I don't know who I was thinking of.
Yeah, they're those guys. Like, Vlatko Kankar's not playing.
That's it, yeah. I don't know.
It feels, and it's obviously the financials of their ownership, but it feels like they're playing with a smaller hand of cards than the rest of the league.
Yeah, but then again, like, KCP has started the season so badly.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks trading away Marcus Smart before he shits the bed.
Yeah, and then the other, where was it being discussed on the Deep 2 NBA podcast, or was it being discussed
elsewhere
in the group chat about Booth having had the option to sign and trade for Tim Hardaway Jr. and someone else for KCP, and instead he chose just to let him walk?
That was pod. Yeah, they could have got sign trade him to Dallas. They could have got Tim Hardaway Jr. and or Josh Green back, which is like both forward players, but get them. You know what I mean? Like get the.
See, I initially was like, oh, that's super weird, but I actually am kind of coming around to the other. Like,
just give Straw through a go.
Well, like not even necessarily from a internal talent promotion perspective, like give our young guys the chance to come through. Like, awesome, that's what you want to see. You would love them to have better pedigree than the Nuggets young guys do, because they're a collection of late first and second round picks. But just purely from the financial play, like, For so long, the perspective has been like, you get the asset so you can spin it forward. But teams do that, and you end up with Josh Green being paid, $20 million a year, and Tim Hardaway Jr. stinking it up for 16.
We can't keep keeping the assets.
You know, like that. Those are depreciating assets that are already bad. Like, don't take that on.
Yeah, but Tim Hardaway Jr. is like, he's got one more year. You know, it's not.
Tim Hardaway Jr. has had one more year for the last 3 years.
That's true. All right.
So MVP
is it Nikola Jokic?
I mean, I'm picking
Nick Jock.
I'm picking Nick Jock. Because we haven't actually talked about him through this whole discussion.
We talked about how shitty his team is.
He's playing at a completely superlative level.
Yeah, it's so good.
And he's back in like unguardable offense mode.
Yeah,
you just cannot stop him from doing anything that he wants. Like, if he wants to score, he's taking you wherever he wants to go. He's like, before Murray's gone down, he's staring into Murray's soul and letting everyone know where he's going with the ball, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Murray's coming around the DHO, and they're getting into their two-man game, giving it up, coming around again, getting it back.
I'll give you his numbers this year: 30, 12, 14. That's I think 1.7 and 1.
Yeah, almost 3 stocks.
Career high in turnovers by 0.4. 38 minutes, which would also be a career high for reference.
Career high in turnovers, also turnover.
4.1.
So he's still got a 3.5 assist to turnover ratio.
Career high in minutes. So if you're making the Donovan Mitchell argument, obviously goes there. Yeah. So last year he won the MVP and played 34 minutes a night. He's playing 38 right now. Now that's 3 overtime games in a 10-game sample. Obviously doesn't help. Now, we both don't think it's Shea at the moment. We both fully well believe it could be Shea. Same with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's had a couple of high assist games as well. You obviously have to say, like, he won the title last year and he's going to be the best player on the best team, potentially.
Yeah.
I actually don't want to talk about Tatum, but
we should because he's he's got a case. But I
want
do
to talk about that guy. I want to talk about Doncic.
Let me talk about Tatum just quickly. Tatum. I don't think that he should, he should win the award, but I also don't think that he will maybe ever, because he's got a stink on him. He's got a stink on him as not quite as good as the other guys and benefiting from playing on
a well-run
the
team.
Best team, with the best collection of players you could possibly imagine. And I don't think you can discount in a conversation like this how much Team USA basketball has, how much of an impact that has on the minds of the journalists who vote for MVP. This guy was sitting on the bench whilst his lesser heralded teammates and other stars around the league were running around.
It was awesome.
I think there's a very strong perception that Tatum, for as much as his numbers put him in the conversation and he's always sniffing around the first and second All-NBA forward spots, there's a perception that he's not as good as the other guys we're discussing and the guy that you want to discuss up next.
I think Tatum will forever be he might be in the top 5 for the next handful of years. And he might end his career with like the most Brownlow votes of all time, not to win the Brownlow, some shit like that. Luka Doncic. I don't want to talk about him too much, but Luka Doncic is just doing Luka Doncic things. Like he's fucking incredible at basketball. He is now in unstoppable territory. Obviously, we just watched him in the Klay Thompson return game to Golden State, but it's now like, okay, we've got our best defender, DeAnthony Melton, on Kyrie Irving. Steph was actually guarding Clay, which is quite funny because that's actually a great matchup. Maybe for both, because they post them up a few times.
You just said Clay, and I wanted to mention this when we were having our Klay Thompson discussion at the top. Do you know how many? Sorry, my half a tin of beer is getting to me. Do you know how many All-Star appearances Klay Thompson had?
Oh, is it like?
And I'm saying had past tense because I don't think he's going to accrue anymore.
Is it like 4?
It's 4.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's kind of insane. Yeah. When you think about 4 rings.
Turn your hands around.
4 rings. And a good, a 7 or 8 year stretch where he was the best guard 3-and-D player in the league.
Yeah.
Multiple time all defensive player, winning rings, very, very prominent in the NBA cultura, and only 4.
I think 4 is very appropriate.
I would have said 6.
In a market where
4 is what 4 is what Devin Booker has, and Devin Booker's 27 years old.
Yeah, in a market where DeMario Carroll gets 1, right? 4's too many, but 4's too little. But yeah, in like the modern NBA, like he was always sort of like he would be the first guy you leave off because he's not the number 1 option on a middling team.
I guess it's just he is one of the players you can't tell the story of the last 15 years without. He's absolutely integral to the story of the league and to the understanding of any NBA fan under the age of 40 Klay Thompson is absolutely integral to their understanding of the league now and how we got here. More so than Draymond, who, you can tell me what Draymond's all-star numbers is, maybe it's 2 or 3, and I would believe it. But it just seems low to me and grossly misaligned with his impact on the game.
Yeah.
And the culture surrounding the game. I was very...
He was always a second or third option, though.
I know.
It's really hard to... 4-time All-Star Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Listed nicknames are Day Day, the Dancing Bear, and Dre.
So then, like, Klay, and I have my own thoughts on this, but like, I'll put it to you and I'll put it out there. Like, is Klay going to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. I've listened to a few pods where people talk about this.
Because
he is.
4 is not really...
The 4 titles, man.
4 is not really enough.
You got to look at the Washington State product as well. No, I'm kidding. 4 titles though, like
no, and I agree with you. But
Yeah.
you're gonna look at the resumes of the other star players from that era.
Yeah.
Who is someone who's been perennially the second best player on his team, and who has won a championship and is going to go to the Hall of Fame. Kyrie Irving would be an 8 or 9-time All-Star and has never been the best player on his team except for that 1 year in Boston.
No, the early Cavs for bad teams.
Oh, but I mean, as an All-Star,
right.
once he was truly like ascendant as a player, he's been the second banana.
The conversations I'm hearing as a plugged-in blind Warriors fan, people are saying, "Is Iggy going to make it?" And Clay's an auto in.
No, I think Klay is an auto in, but I just think it will be interesting to look at the resumes of
like Mitch Richmond, compared to Mitch Richmond.
The other second bananas from around the, look at the Spurs
world.
second bananas,
Yeah, I mean, like
a few
Parker
other.
and Ginobili are in.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to suggest in any way that he shouldn't get in.
Yeah.
But you understand what I am trying to say, that there's a misalignment with his individual accolades compared to his team success.
Yeah, so...
When he has been such an integral part of the team success.
Klay.
Usually, the guys who are the integral part of the team success get the team success and they also get the accolades.
Yeah, and like his shoe deals with Anta, shit like that. Clay's made 1 all-defensive team.
Yeah.
Draymond's made 8.
Yeah.
Klay, 2-time All-NBA. Jamie, pull it up. It's actually nice having a laptop. This is pretty cool. 2-time All-NBA for Draymond Green as well. But like, it's like someone like when you talk about Klay getting voted in, right? DeMarcus Cousins is probably getting in before Klay Thompson.
No, DeMarcus is no.
Not Hall of Fame. I'm saying when you're having that All-Star discussion in 2013. Well, not 13. He wouldn't be an All-Star, but like if you're having that discussion in 2015. I remember he missed the All-Star team, and then he had 60 points the next night.
And to be fair as well, at least one of the injury-riddled seasons, not riddled, injury wiped out seasons, the season before he made the All-Star team.
Yeah, okay,
so you can make a credible case that he would have been in contention again that season had he not missed it. He missed back-to-back full seasons.
Yeah.
And then most of it was fully 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you lived it, but going back and looking at it on the Basketball Reference page and seeing such a big hole it's really sobering. Really makes me want to savor it for all it's worth every time I take the court, because you never know when it could get taken away from you. I
remember draft morning, the big gym draft.
Yeah.
I went to Jackson's house and because I always watch draft with him. I'm like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. See, Klay fucking hurt his leg in training. I was like, what the fuck, is that real? It's like, yeah, it seems real. Been reported by like legit journalists, and it's like, fuck, are you gonna take Anthony Edwards? Like, are you gonna trade up? And last week I said flashing doors, and I now know it's sliding doors.
Yeah,
it's imagine. And then imagine if we didn't pick him, we picked LaMelo.
Yeah, imagine if you picked LaMelo. Yeah,
big Jim, still in the league. Good on him. All right,
did he pop his Achilles?
Yeah.
Poor
non-contact.
Yeah.
It's the season for popping Achilles as non-contact bigs with not much prospects. Not many. Let's not talk about Doncic. I looked at his numbers and they do not stack up. Like, don't Google it yet. Wait a little bit, but do not Google it. Defensive Player of the Year, the faves in this order: Wemby, Mobley, and AD. All right, so I did this last year when I did this pod with Marco, and then I did it with you at the end of the year when we did our awards. So I've just got opponent rim shooting frequency, minimum 250 minutes, only bigs, plus Bilal Coulibaly. So I will say, so this is how often are opponents shooting shots in the paint when you're on the court. Not last year, Rudy Gobert's career high is -8. Right, which wow, he deters 8% of shots. This year, Bilal Coulibaly -12. Second, Miles Turner -7.8.
Can I ask you 2 questions about Bilal Coulibaly?
Yeah.
Is he included in here simply as a
Shout to
an
Lucas.
homage to Lucas?
And he's good.
And is he the highest non-big number?
Nah, there was a Jalen Brunson that was higher.
Okay. But like non-big where you think actually he's
When it matches the eye test, he
Yeah.
was the best non-big who's like a defender,
Yeah,
who's
okay,
actually impacting the shots.
Yeah.
Fucking Jalen Brunson was bowling way too well.
Yeah.
That's why I made them all bigs. Bilal Coulibaly -12, Miles Turner -7.8, Rudy Gobert -7.5, Nikola Jokic 7.3. There was obviously that play a couple of weeks ago or a week ago where they came out of a timeout, and Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards talked about this in the locker room, but Jokic saw how everyone was standing, and then he grabbed Brown and said, "Move! They're running this play." And then Anthony Edwards was like, "I looked at Rudy like, what the fuck, man? He knows what play we're gonna fucking run." And then Jokic just blew it up. Like, this is worlds different to 5 years ago when I remember Adam Mares on the DNVR pod or the Denver Stiffs pod was just like, man, like he might be able to be Marc Gasol one day, and like people laughed at him, and now it's like he understands the other
How
team's
many
plays.
years ago did you say?
This would have been when I was reading Denver.
Did you say 5 or did I mishear you?
Could have been more than 5.
It's definitely more than 5.
'Cause
I heard he's actually been doing this for a long time.
It's got to be more than 5.
His first, it's more like 8.
You've been listening to pods for too long.
His first big season, I think, was like 2016-17.
Yeah, one of the first articles I wrote for #basketball was like, that would be good if they got a defensive 4 next to him, which was second year uni, which was 2018. Fuck, that's so
And then they
long.
went and got Aaron Gordon.
No, they went and got Paul Millsap.
Yeah,
This is
my
before Paul
guy.
Millsap.
Paul Millsap gets a lot of disrespect.
Who the fuck's disrespecting him? He's the most fucking blah guy. Remember when he got traded to Brooklyn from Philly or the other way around, with James Harden, and no one asked him a question for 25 minutes, and they said, "Paul, are you excited to be in Philly?" And he goes, "It's getting a bit awkward there, wasn't it?" They were asking Jimmy H. Opponent rim shooting accuracy, Gobert's career high is 7.5, -7. This year, Victor Wembanyama, -16. Second, Bobby Portis, -14.
Talk about not matching the eye test.
Evan Mobley, -9. Kevin Durant, 7.9. Gobert and Holmgren tied at 7.5. And then opponent 3-point shooting accuracy while these players are on the court. Marcus Smart's career high, I just threw that in there as a reference, was -2.6. Pascal Siakam this year, -11. Christian Brown, -10.6. Hachimura, -10. Antetokounmpo, -8.9. And Halliburton, -8.5. I was going to mention this earlier, but like the Pacers' opponents are shooting... Like the Pacers' defense doesn't pass the eye test, but their 3-point shooting is like we know Halliburton isn't a good defender, and there's no reason why opponents should be shooting 8% worse against him.
That of the 3 numbers that you've read out, the opponent 3-point field goal percentage is by orders of magnitude the least reliable.
Yeah.
Based on the size of the sample that we have, and also the variability that's just built into 3-point shooting anyway.
Yeah.
Like unfortunately, it has less than
Means
no
nothing.
real world application.
Brown's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year, but what I wanted to illustrate is that usually there's numbers that we look at and we go like who's the best defense in the league, and then we compare it to the individual numbers. Usually there's numbers that we compare it against. Also, Chet's out for 8 to 10 weeks. Chet's coming back end of February.
Is that when 8 to 10 weeks is?
Seriously, someone did
No.
It is.
No, it's not. It's
the
not.
All-Star break, man.
It's not. It's literally not. It's end of Jan.
He's reevaluated.
It's end of Jan.
He's reevaluated in 8 to 10.
It's end of Jan.
Yeah, but he's reevaluated.
Yeah, but he's reevaluated at the end of Jan.
And then he'll come back a couple of weeks after that. The Thunder have the best defense. Now, like, Chet's obviously out until the end of Jan, we just learned. But like in terms of this award, in terms of what we're doing right now, looking at 3 weeks of basketball, he's still in contention. He won't be by the end of the year. Oklahoma City have the best defense. Second, Orlando. Third, Houston. That's before today's games. Fourth, Golden State. We've fallen. We used to be second. But yeah, what I just wanted to show is that we usually look at the best teams and we compare it with the numbers, but the numbers are just fucked up. Like Bobby Portis was someone we mentioned. So I don't really know what we're going to do with this. Wemby's deterrence and accuracy is spectacular, but the Spurs are going to win 20-something games, right? And I said this last year, I do not want to give it to a dude who's winning 20 games. It's like if he's on is the best defense, well, it wasn't, but yeah, so top 5, and he's off is actually, now that I've voiced it out, I don't know. Would you reward Wemby? Would you?
I'm giving it to Wemby at this stage.
So I'm going to give it to Chet. But would you be happy, let's say the Spurs win 20 games, Chris Paul's been bought out and he plays for the Lakers, right? Would you give it to Wemby?
I don't think for what it's worth, I don't think the Spurs are going to win only 20 games. There are very few...
You got it for 15?
There are very few circumstances in which I would, give it to a player on a bad team or even an average team. And I think that this is probably one of them.
The 7'5"
yeah. Cunt. because like he's playing with literally a bunch of sieves out there, and like what he's doing in not only covering his own man, but completely like holding down the area of the paint, switching out, and then being such a like the classic Rudy Gobert covering for the turnstiles he's playing with in Utah.
Like the second best defender.
This is one of those things where it's like, okay, well, you were in the DPOY shortlist last year. You were receiving votes. You were finishing in the top 5, and you're better this year.
Yeah, I could be talked around to it, but. God, I wish Chet was healthy now. Because imagine if OKC's got the best defense and Chet played the whole year.
OKC's defense is going to plummet.
Yeah, now that
he's down.
Wouldn't that be such a great philosophical discussion to have? And like a year older Wemby.
And it's great for basketball. And it's a great day to be a basketball fan. To have these two guys who have come into the league at the same time who play the same position being compared to each other.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that we...
Like Jabari Wiggins sort of stuff.
Yeah, but like if they were both better.
Yeah.
Like they're both good.
So
you need more inter-player rivalries. They don't have that anymore.
We had a bit of a, I won't say argument, I'll say back and forth in the preseason. You described Chet as injury prone. I said, no, he's not injury prone. And you're like, he's missed 50% of every game he's ever played. And it's like, yeah, but that was like his Liz Frank 2 words, right? That was his Liz Frank bone. Like he was indestructible last year. That debate still hasn't really been like solved because he fell sideways on his hip and broke his hip. Like I think he broke like the little wing thing, right? How do you feel? I just want to get your temperature check on. Is Wemby injury prone after falling sideways?
Is Chet injury prone?
Yeah, sorry.
Do we have an argument about this?
No, I told you it was a disagreement.
What a silly thing there's so many bigger problems in the world.
Yeah. Namely.
Look, if I were to show a bit of reflection, which I often do, if I were to analyse, where it sounds like I was coming from, I don't actually remember this conversation. If I were to analyse where it sounds like I was coming from, there is I think a tendency among people who know basketball to think and maybe assume that a big coming into the league who has a serious injury in their recent college, high school career or early NBA career is just injury prone. Obviously Embiid is one. Blake Griffin missed his whole rookie season. Chet has come in and done a similar thing, missing his whole rookie season with the Liz Frank. I don't necessarily think that it holds true just because. And I do think that this sideways fall onto the hip is just a freak accident.
Yeah.
Undeniably, there are some players who have more freak accidents than others because there's some cosmic draw. I'm thinking specifically of Anthony Davis. Both goes down every single time and has like random things. You can throw Embiid in there, in there as well. Like
every time
random little things like Markel Fultz banging his head on his face and breaking his face, missing the playoffs. So now I've waffled a little bit off tangent.
Let's move on.
I don't know
right
that I
answer.
agree with myself from months ago.
There's no right answer. Most
What was I
improved player,
smoking?
The favourites were Jalen Johnson. I say were as in 2 days ago. Jalen Johnson, RJ Barrett, and J Dub. RJ can piss right off. I like I said piss, even though on the run sheet I wrote fuck, and earlier I said cunt. He's averaging 23 points for a bad team, shooting 43% from the floor and 33% from three.
They're a terrible team.
This is. I wrote that sentence for you. Like you love bashing Rowan. Rowan Basher.
Rowan is one of the most bashable players.
He actually sucks. So did you see when I just typed in Rowan? Did you see when he was in LA the other day and he finished the layup and then he ran around and then he saw Jamie Lannister?
Yeah.
And then he looks and he turned around and he went Game of Thrones. That's also fucking. We should probably talk about it. This at the top. Maybe I'll edit it in. But he Og falling into Anne Hathaway.
Man, it's almost like the NBA players are competing for the basketball and celebrities are sitting courtside.
She looked spectacular.
Oh my god!
Didn't she just? Is what you should have said. Fuck no. No one does it like Anne Hathaway.
Rowan sucks.
OG.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny when I mentioned whatever. Rowan sucks.
What do you mean was funny? I just finished laughing.
In the group, I was like, fuck, Og almost falls into Anne Hathaway. I was like, fuck, the headline's me, bro.
The Og gag never gets old.
No, but my gag was OG falls into Anne Hathaway. I'm the OG.
Oh, I hate every second of it.
Yeah, horrible.
Rowan fully sucks, and I think you're right that he doesn't belong in this conversation. Not least because the two best ball handlers on his team are out injured, so he's the only guy they have who can dribble a basketball.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the current favourite, Jalen Johnson.
Can I throw a smoky in?
I've got a smoky after this. So look. I'm happy to not talk about Jalen Johnson. Let's talk Smokies.
We've got all the time in the world.
Let's talk Smokies.
My Smoky is a kid from Bendigo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's his numbers look like?
Dyson Daniels.
Bro, do not look at his old NBL 1 highlights if you don't like skeletons.
Really?
Yeah. Lanky kid from fucking the Go, man. Fuck.
So he's averaging about 15-5 with about 3 assists.
That you are wrong. It is 14-3. 3 assists, 3.6 steals.
Yep.
What's your shooting? All right. It says here 46 and 27.
Yeah, so obviously one of those numbers is better than the other. But to be shooting 46 whilst only shooting 27 shows that there's some good... if you look on that graph there's a column that says 2P percentage. Tell me what that number says.
Oh, 56. That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
But what if he gets into the 2P areas and he gets fouled and he has to get to the FT area? He's up to his free throw attempts, which is a great sign for a ball handler. He's at 2 a game, but he's shooting 52% from the free throw line.
Yeah, but that number will go up.
Sure.
It has to.
Yeah, it has to for your argument.
As surely as the 3.6 steals has to go down.
The lizard.
But
man.
the case essentially is that he represents, an inflection point candidate in opposition to the two players that we will discuss as favourites, where they're both not quite stars, but they've both shown that they're going to be really, really good. And they're being really, really good. Whereas Daniels has gone from essentially a player with very minimal value, who was a trade throw-in as a nominal first-round pick, to actually playing really well and being an exceptional role player, and also expanding his skill set. He's doing things for Atlanta that he wasn't doing for the last team that he played for, the New Orleans Pelicans.
It's another bird team. It's easy to get confused.
He's like actually being empowered to run the break, run pick and roll, catch and shoot threes when it's not, absolutely wide open. And of course, he's had like 4 games with 4 or more steals or something like that. Like it's absolutely insane.
Damn, your preseason prediction was Scoot Henderson.
Yeah. Well, read the first sentence that I wrote for that.
Well, it can't get much worse. It
well,
fully
actually,
did. Yeah, he sucks, man. He actually had us all for a fucking ride.
But also, like, the whole draft world was on it. Like everyone had it.
Yeah, he was playing well in the G League.
What was going on with NBA talent evaluation at that time?
I don't know. Maybe he just went into like $11 million and it changed his life.
Yeah.
So that might be it. Actually, but he seems like his head's in the right place. Like, how like he played against Westbrook.
Not if he's gone in and $11 million changed his life. It would take at least 25 for my life to be changed.
All right, my smokeys Tyler Hero, who without Jimmy Butler for most of the season, but we'll be saying that at the end of the year. He's averaging 25, 5 and 5. He's shooting 51, 48, 83. He looks really good.
Can you go on to TylerHeroBasketballReference.com.au, please?
I've actually got some stats from another website called Cleaning the Glass, if you'd prefer them. What do you want to look here?
I just want his season graph. Yes, exactly as I thought.
What do you mean?
He's only getting to the line 3.5 times a game.
Yeah, no,
which means he's absolutely not going to sustain the levels of shooting that he's putting up.
So career high usage 26%, which 27%, which is only a little bit higher than last year. Career high points per shot attempt, behind only Chris Dunn and Peyton Pritchard among guards.
Notable dead eyes.
So he is blazing hot from mid-range, particularly the long mid-range, leading the league among guards in long mid-range shooting. Also shooting 50% from 3, spectacular. Not going to stand, but if the league finished today, if we're having this argument about Kenny Atkinson, if the league finished today, Tyler Hero would be the most improved player. Because
he is the candidate. This is where the direction of the award has gone in recent years, from a guy who was already really good becoming great.
Yeah. And I love that. And also 25, 5 and 5 is so nice to say. But 5 assists, he's like, yes, the shooting isn't going to sustain, but getting his assists up from 4.5.
Well, the thing again though, like career high usage,
obviously,
the assists come with that territory.
Yeah.
He's not going to have the same on-ball reps.
I also, like the one Heat game I seriously watched was the in-season tournament against the Detroit Pistons, where he hit 6 threes in the fourth quarter. Hit a shot to tie the game. I also he missed a shot to win the game and then ran over to the bench like, I got fouled. I was like, sometimes you miss shots, man. Like that's all right. You were defended really well. How about the ending of that Heat Pistons game? What is this? The instructions to my motor. That sucks. So I'm going to pick Tyler Hero and you're going to pick the kid from Bendigo.
What I will say is that if we were having this conversation in another 2 weeks' time, I think that J-Dub might be really in it. Because with no Chet, J-Dub is playing
has to do more.
Centre.
Chet was also shooting a bit. Chet was doing stuff off the dribble.
Yeah, fully. J-Dub is now like undisputed second option. He's the second ball handler. He's the centre on defense. He's going to average like 8.5 rebounds a game. I have found myself watching a lot of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The teams I have watched a lot of this year include the Phoenix Suns, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Denver Nuggets, and the Dallas Mavericks.
Wow. That is so similar to
because they always just seem to be on. And you'll know this, but listeners, I'm going to bring you behind the kimono. I did not renew my NBA League Pass subscription this season, so I'm seeing how the casuals have been doing it for years and just watching the games that are available on ESPN.
Yeah.
So I come home from work and I say, gee, I feel like watching some basketball. And I have to go in there and pick from the games that Rupert Murdoch is letting me watch. And he must just fucking have a proclivity for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, really?
Because they're on all the time.
Fuck, not the Lakers?
And along with the other 3 teams that I mentioned, the Lakers are also on, but I haven't watched that. I watched I watched Bulls Hawks the other day, the 2023 Eastern Conference Eastern Conference Finals matchup that we predicted in 2019.
Bowl.
Anyway, just to cap off the most improved discussion, I think that J-Dub fits perfectly the profile that we just talked about with Hero. And I think he is going to really, really blossom in the coming weeks.
You don't want to talk about the kid south of Bendigo?
Josh just a kid from Bulleen.
Just a kid from Bulleen trying to make it in this world. So 14 points, 7 assists, 6.6 rebounds, 44% from 2.
The thing that I noticed, I think I've watched 2 Bulls games. They're just playing him at power forward. He's screening. He's like off balls. He's like off ball screening.
Yeah.
He's setting pin downs.
Kobe White's just better.
Yeah, but not in Kobe White's is better, but they're not playing him as a shooting guard because Kobe White's better.
Yeah.
They're playing him as a power forward.
Because he can't shoot.
Because he can't shoot.
Yeah. They're also playing him next to Patrick Williams, which is hard for anyone, especially if you can't shoot.
God, Patrick Williams.
Hang on, let's have a look.
Patrick Williams is just collecting the bag.
That contract,
what I want to know is I want to get the most negative points per game to millions per season ratios in NBA history. But Patrick Williams getting paid $16 million per year.
9 points a game. It's a career low.
He's in less than he's on a point. He's on a 0.66 points per game to millions per season ratio. That's pretty low.
Shooting 34% from 2 and 35% from 3.
Yeah.
That's
you know what the flaw in there would need to be some way to standardize this, because the flaw in my theory would be that if you were getting paid $54 million a year and you were averaging 27 points per game, which is pretty good, you would come out at a 0.5
like Steph
ratio.
Steph's making 60
Yeah, so there needs to be some way to maybe standardize it by I don't know, by something. Anyway, we'll work on it and get back to you.
Yeah, I actually I've got an idea for an app, but we'll talk about this off air.
All right, let's get it moving.
Yeah, let's get through these last ones real quick, especially this one. Rookie of the Year. Favourites, Ricochet, Zach Edey, Bub Carrington. Ricochet had his nice man stat line against the Knicks, 33, 3, 7 and 3 steals on 11 of 18, and then you go, 6 of 10. You've got him on fantasy, don't you?
I keep picking him up and dropping him.
Oh, he's available.
Yeah.
That probably says something.
Yeah.
Zach Edey's getting played off the floor before the games even hit double digits. For
what it's worth, I think that the rush to condemn Edey as a serious basketball player has been far too quick.
Right.
And you've written in the run sheet that, and I'm quoting here, it's only going to get worse, cunts.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that's true, because he's played 1 month of NBA basketball.
Yeah.
I take the sentiment that he's going to be, going up against players, against teams later in the season and the postseason that are more geared towards his weaknesses or exploiting his weaknesses. But his weaknesses will also get less weak as he gets better, presumably.
Okay. Yeah, are you going to
pick I don't think he's the rookie. Yeah, I would give it to Ricochet.
All right, you're going to pick...
But I don't fucking care.
I'm going to pick Bub Carrington.
I've seen enough from Ricochet to think that he'll be a good NBA player.
I'm going to pick Bub Carrington because he's fucking fun to watch, and he's already a good NBA player.
I haven't watched any Wizards.
The Wizards are really fun. They're a team I've actually watched. They're in my... You had your list of play teams you watched.
Yeah.
The Wizards are legitimately fun.
What's that French kid doing?
The French kid is fine. The French kid is very skinny and young, and they're playing him at the 4 sometimes. And, I mean, they are also playing him at the 5. Also, there was a report this morning that the Lakers are interested in Jonas Valanciunas.
That's the most Lakers.
Yeah.
That is the most Lakers thing ever. Did you know once upon a time they had Ivica Zubac?
Yeah. Yeah. And Bob Carrington's just a steady adjacent hand. Jordan Poole has actually improved. Jordan Poole that was his first full year at the helm of a bad team, and he's still not shooting great, but he's shooting a lot better than he was last year. And he's also he's just honestly he's grown. He's grown a bit.
That's very big of you to say.
And Bilal Coulibaly is just disrupting everything. Chuck him on your best player, chuck him on their worst player, have him as a roamer. He is I don't know what his final position is, and he might never know the answer to that. Like, he honestly can defend 1 through 4.
But they'll call the Bali's to the Washington Wizards what Uber was to the taxi market. Just disrupting everything.
He is, he might be the next Andrei Kirilenko.
God. Actually goated though.
Yeah.
Andre Kirilenko had a season where he averaged like 3 blocks and 2 steals.
Another dude, if you don't like skeletons, don't look at him.
Yeah, a scary face. He's definitely killed someone.
Yeah. Before or after joining the NBA?
I mean, like, why not both?
Remember when he was playing for the Sixers and he was like, can you just release me? Like, I want to go home. He was like, I'm going to retire from the NBA. And Sam Higgie's like, I might be able to get a protected second at the deadline. And he's like, please, like, my wife's sick. Let me go home. And he's like, no,
please.
Report to training. And
please, my wife's sick.
And then he fully
remember when he had a player option for like $15 million and he went and he declined it and then went and signed with the Nets for $5 million and they got fucking investigated and fined for tampering? When Mikhail Prokhorov was when Mikhail Prokhorov, the Russian oligarch, was the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, Andrei Kirilenko, noted Russian, went and signed there for $10 million less for like ostensibly no reason.
That was the fringes of my time. That was I was on the fringes of basketball watching at that point. That was before the Anthony Bennett draft.
Yeah.
The Anthony Bennett draft was my entry into the world of NBA.
God, you missed a good one.
Andre
Kirilenko also had one of those. It's the worst tattoo in basketball.
What was it?
The tattoos that over.
I'm going to type in AK-47 tattoo and it's going to come up.
The tattoos that are wider than on the back that are wider than the bandwidth of of the singlet. Now we're just looking at guns.
Yeah, don't Google AK-47 tattoo. Is that it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's putrid.
Yeah, it's terrible. So you can imagine what that looks like when he's wearing the.
That's a That's a knight riding a dragon.
Yeah, you can imagine what it looks like when he's wearing the singlet, though. Terrible. You know, notable people who have it currently is Jason Tatum.
Yeah. With
the big overlapping text on the back. Luka Doncic has it with little Australia and New Zealand peeking out. You know, others have it.
In 2K11, you could mod your game on PC to give him that tat.
No, he just had it in 2K.
Not in 11, but
I remember playing 2K with Andrei Kirilenko, and he's got the back tattoo. Anyway, he's full. Go to this other photo.
He looks like Drago.
Yeah, he looks like he's literally from the village. And by the village I mean like in 13th century outskirts of Bratislava, you know?
Wow.
Crazy.
He was made to play for Utah and Minnesota.
Go on basketballreference.com.au and type in Andrei Kirilenko.
If I type in AK-47, does it come up? AK-47 tattoo. We will get to the 6th man of the year. 13-year NBA.
There's 1 year where he had like just outrageous stock numbers.
Yeah.
Wall Street was jealous. Here you go. 3.3 blocks and 1.6 steals. Defensive player of the year 10. What's he got to do?
He was an all-star.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He fully went to another league and came
Is
back.
Andrei Kirilenko going to the Hall of Fame?
If Andre Iguodala is... small sample, I want to see his playoff stocks. Yeah, okay, not as big as...
That's pretty legit, though. There's a lot of twos there.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's wrap it up. 6th man of the year. Pritchard, Hield, Mathurin. Are you going to pick Buddy Hield?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking oath, man.
Yeah.
Hield. So I guess the only other argument is Mathurin. He's actually playing well. I've made fun of him. Lucas said something in group chat the other day. It was like, Sean, concise in the way he says things, great delivery, shit takes.
Yeah.
And one of my takes was, I don't think Mathurin's going to be very good.
I don't think you have concise delivery either.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'm ruined.
Yeah, seriously.
What have I got? Oh, I write it down well. Mathurin's been playing well.
Yeah, Mathurin's been playing well. A little bit sceptical of that.
You don't trust him.
No, I mean, he burst onto the scene in his rookie season, had an amazing first 20 games.
True, then he fell off.
And then he had like a very bad next 1 3/4 season.
Hold on, though. This year, 19 points, 2 assists. Yeah, he's in the Michael Porter Jr. and
Cam Thomas category.
6 rebounds, shooting 50% from 3 on 3.8 attempts. That's in line with his league average, with his career average. 55% from the floor, 58% from 2.
It's pretty good.
That's really good.
It's pretty good.
Is that better than Buddy Hield? Fuck.
Hield is doing it in a way that
He's winning games.
Yeah, that is a little bit more high leverage.
Yeah, he kicked 1,000 goals as well. God, he's got a big graph. 18 points for Buddy. Yeah, 47% from 3, 50% from the floor. Taking 8 threes a night. I think Steph's up to like 13. It's so cool. You should watch Steph. You do. He's one of your guys.
They're on my short list.
Yeah. Do you remember when we used to call him threesers? Says Basketball Reference. He won Coach of the Year and that's clutch Player of the Year. We didn't even put it in this year. He's leading all NBA players ever in free throw percent. That's pretty cool.
I heard that on the broadcast the other day whilst I was watching the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, I get
Who
it.
were one of my shortlisted teams, and I had to do a double take. It sounds fake.
He's also leading them all in threes made unattempted.
Yeah. He's leading them in threes, man. I thought Ray Allen had the record.
All right, so you picked Malik Monk. Malik Monk's out for a couple of weeks as well. Yeah. I picked Daniel Gafford.
Not to put the cart before the horse, but it's looking like a pretty rough season for Deep 2 preseason predictions.
Yeah, true. What do we got? This is not Naz
we
Reid.
all picked Wemby for DPOY.
I
so
didn't.
yeah, of course.
No.
Like Lucas was saying, shit takes.
Sean Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. Did we get
Glenn Tafe, I call him. Did you read this? Yeah, everyone picked him but me. Rookie's just hard. I picked the French guy.
Yeah.
There's a few French guys.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Coaches, yeah, it's crapshoot. Taylor Jenkins is a good chime. Most improved. God, yeah.
It's not looking really likely. Did anyone pick Jokic for MVP?
No.
Yeah.
We got the itch now.
Someone picked Devin Booker. That's crazy.
Shea Luca, Booker.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, you're having a good lollygag.
I was tongue in the cheek.
Yeah, I think Chet's
We
really good.
might actually full be like Ofa for this.
No.
Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, Chet's not going to win anymore. Oh,
Well, I mean, like
Wemby.
Wemby.
Fuck, he got a Mickey butt. He's fully got a Mickey dippy. Yeah. All right, is there anything else you want to say? Do you want to talk about the Warriors more? I could always talk about the Warriors.
No, I will just mention we played the inaugural game of the Deep 2.
What's the team called?
It's called the Deep 2.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
The Deep 2 basketball season, featuring Deep 2 representatives, myself, Lucas Marco, and an assortment of other motley characters from across the
universe,
the extended universe. And in some cases, the far-flung reaches of the galaxy.
Wow, the outer rim.
The outer rim, yeah. But it was lots of fun. We played a very close fought first half.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, we didn't really rock up for the first 10 minutes, and we ended up being down by about 18, but we kind of brought it back to like 9.
Right.
I think it was 26-35 full time.
How'd you play?
Yeah, I played all right.
Are you lead ball handler then?
Me and Luke kind of split it.
Luke, 2 points? What's with that?
Yeah. Did he get? I think he got 0 actually.
He got 0.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
He's on a plane to another continent right now, so
True.
we wish him well. But whilst he's 40,000 feet in the air, I'll say that he did get 0 points.
Yeah. What's with that though? Because he's good at getting points.
It was a game where, you know, on our side, you could tell that there were some people who didn't have a lot of basketballing experience, and there were some people that hadn't played basketball in a long time.
Yeah.
Both myself and Luke fall into that category.
Yeah.
I played well. Had some nice moments. I got three steals in a row. Like literally just Dyson Danielsing it and dropping into the passing lanes in semi-transition. And on the third one, I said, "God, I'm racking them up," and stepped into a pull-up 3 and bricked it. And I also airballed a free throw.
Oh,
I had
whoa.
a really nice hesitation blow by and one.
Yeah.
And then
you call them blowies.
And then like not only did it not make the distance, but it was also offline.
well, don't worry. I wouldn't even tell me that.
Anyway, game 1. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're locked in for the rest of the year?
Well, I'm going overseas in a few weeks.
True.
For a few weeks. But other than that, I'll be there. When the team needs me, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
I didn't know it was called Deep 2. That's sick.
Yeah.
Because
shout out to friend of the program, Ollie Lees, for being the architect.
Yeah, Ollie's like, do you want to play? And I'm like, I'm actually just taking a year off from basketball.
You're doing your Andre Q year.
Seriously, yeah. The Pro League. But I don't know, man. Seeing the video of Marco catching the air ball and putting it back up.
Yeah, that's fucking actually insane.
That happens to Kobe all the time. It's the wind, man.
No, but did they video you?
Oh, yeah.
So the competition or whatever
How
has
do you think
it.
I send you all my Shengun clips? You know how I'll
I
send you
don't
videos?
know. Have you sent me Shengun clips?
No, I've been sending my clips on a Tuesday when I get the Glory League video.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I got to get in the chat more.
Yeah, that's good.
Notoriously never in the chat on a Tuesday, but they video you so that you're watching yourself back in. And Marco's N1 was like a real a real man move.
So I've played at Coburg. They actually they're hanging because I'm mates with them. They're hanging a thing in the rafters.
Yeah, I could tell from the
MHJ.
I could tell from the high.
They're calling 150 episodes plus an N1. It's just the shittest bit ever.
I don't even understand it.
No, I don't get it either.
Yeah,
I'll get one of these videos. How funny is that?
That's pretty funny.
We're not even podcasting anymore. Dante, I'll speak to you next time.
The Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show is your fortnightly dose of the lighter side of basketball, hosted by me, Marco.
And me, Lucas. We take a more laid-back approach, talking about the NBA, the WNBA, FIBA basketball, culture, whatever tickles our fancy or grinds our gears.
The show is filled with great guests, classic gags, and a healthy dose of tangents in honour of the great man himself.
The Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show, fortnightly on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
Loves just talking about the league, certain things like that.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? Find the W Basketball Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.